want to go back talking about men in your life. We've talked about Garth Brooks. You sang with Pavarotti?
I did.
Tell me about that.
You know, you as a little girl, you have these goals, you know, and I knew I wanted to be a singer. I knew I wanted to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry. I knew I saw myself on stage singing, performing, touring. I never even would have dreamed to put Pavarotti on the list, you know. It was one of those things that you just would never think would happen to you. Pavarotti did for many years a benefit for the war children of Liberia, and it was in Modena, Italy, his hometown. And I got invited, and it was 98 or 99. It was an amazing experience, and he was charming, and in Italy, you know, everything's very, you know, kind of relaxed, so rehearsals would be at 6, but you probably wouldn't rehearse till 9 or 10, and then you would all go to dinner at 2 in the morning and eat pasta, you know, and then go to bed. It was just like, it was amazing.
Well, what a story. Pavarotti, he writes you and says, will you come to Italy and take part in this benefit?
Yeah, and it was me and, you know, Stevie Wonder and the Spice Girls and Prince Andrew and Vanessa Williams sang, John Bon Jovi. It was like this eclectic group
Pretty high
of
cotton
artists.
for a girl from Georgia.
Exactly. I mean, it was like, I'm like, are you sure you meant to call me? You know, but it was amazing.
Johnny Cash, he's been in your past.
I remember the first time that I met Johnny Cash. I was playing at the Grand Ole Opry, and he was playing the Grand Ole Opry, and just the man in black, all in black, walking backstage. And I passed him in the hall, and he said, "Hi, Trisha." And I just thought, how in the world does Johnny Cash know my name? You know, it was that kind of thing, because it was early on in my career. It was about 92. And then during those years, everybody played Branson, Missouri. You know, that Branson was this big place where everybody went to play music. And a lot of artists who were older artists would open a theater there and play there for years, and people would, it was like a destination for fans to go.
A lot of people don't know that. Branson was kind of a southern Las Vegas.
Absolutely, that's a great way to describe it. But then younger artists would kind of go and do a night there. So I was going to play Branson, and I was doing an interview, and the interviewer said, well, you know, you're playing Branson where all these legends are playing down the street from you. And he said, what makes you think people are going to want to go see you when there's like Johnny Cash and Glenn Campbell? And I thought for a second, and I said, well, I don't know. I said, if I was in Branson, I would go see Johnny Cash. You know, I don't know what answer he was expecting, but that's what I said. And a couple weeks later, I'm back home, and I get a letter in the mail and the return address says House of Cash, and I knew that was Johnny Cash's logo. And it was a handwritten letter from Johnny saying, I read what you said in the article, and thank you for the compliment. And then he went on to say, I like your voice, and he mentioned a song called Wrong Side of Memphis that I recorded that he loved. And it just was like, it put the stamp of approval on me. You know, there are moments in your life, in your career, that just awe you. And I'm still that girl. I'm not ever going to be at a place where those kind of things are normal to me. And it was just wonderful. So he became that guy that when I would run into him at an award show or somewhere, I just felt like he had my back. You know, he was a wonderful guy.
What about female country music stars? Anybody a special influence on you?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, there was an album that was played in my house all the time, and it was like 25 or 30 country hits. It was just every little groove on the album was tiny. It had all these songs on it. But there were 2 women on the record. The rest of them were all men. So the first 2 women that I listened to were Patsy Cline and Kitty Wells. And so they were my very first influence. Now that led to the 2 women in country music were Loretta Lynn and Tammy Wynette. And Loretta, they used to make this album, they probably still do. It was called the Nashville Sound Plus You, and you could buy it. My sister's probably laughing over there. You could buy this album, and you could play it, and it was basically like karaoke before karaoke came into be, and you could sing along with the record, and so I would buy the female, you know, Nashville Sound Plus You, and I'm singing Coal Miner's Daughter, Harper Valley PTA, Jeannie C. Riley, but Coal Miner's Daughter was really the one, you know, and over and over again and sang that. So they were really, and there weren't that many women really that were doing it. I mean, Loretta and Tammy in particular, they were the first female artists that really even got a last name. You know, back in the day when they'd have these road shows and they'd take all these guys out, you'd be pretty Miss whatever. You wouldn't have a last name. So Loretta Lynn, and she wrote her own songs, you know, so that was unique. She and Tammy Wynette really did open those doors. And then Reba McEntire came along and knocked the doors even wider open. But Patsy Cline, for me, the voice, just the power and the emotion.